Hey everyone, Percy Jules here. Now today we're going to talk about the brand new DriveShaper by Cableguys. And it's going to be exciting.
Supercy.
Okay, the DriveShaper by Cableguys. Now I will leave a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so should you be interested, you can use that link. Wouldn't cost you a cent more, but I would get a little commission, and that of course would help support me and this channel. But what is the DriveShaper? Because we can talk about affiliate links and commissions and purchasing, but what would you actually be purchasing? So first of all, is it a plugin or is it a module for a plugin? Now let's take one little step back. So for those of you that don't know, there is a company named Cableguys. Now a while ago, Cableguys released a plugin called Shaperbox. Now since then, they've also released Shaperbox 2. But anyway, Shaperbox is a plugin. It loads as a plugin, but it's also kind of a host for different modules, or shapers as they call them. Now what we're looking at here, this is my Shaperbox, and as you can see I've got different shapers. So I have the time shaper, the drive shaper, which we're talking about today, filter shaper, crush, volume, pan, and width shaper, and they all do different things. Okay, now let's zoom into the drive shaper. Now the drive shaper essentially is a distortion tool. Now, of course, there are a lot of distortion plugins out there. So what would make the DriveShaper any special? Well, I would say especially as being part of the Shaperbox ecosystem, it will give you a lot of flexibility. So let's just do a quick overview just to show you what I mean. So first of all, let's start with the drive up here. So with drive, you can set the amount of drive affecting the sound. So at the moment it is turned off, but you can set it from 0 to 100 and anything in between, of course. Okay, so this sets the amount. Now next to the amount we have the styles selector. So we can choose a distortion style, and we can choose from 10 different styles. Now with grip and with push, and also with accent and tone, we can tweak the style a bit further. And also with the envelope follower, this also affects the distortion with regards to the dynamics of the sound. Now this area right here, this is kind of the, well, let's call it the LFO area. We can basically create any shape, so any pattern we like by just clicking like this. Or we can use the tools up here to create some unusual shapes like this, or maybe like this, or maybe like this. We can also choose from one of the presets down here, or here, or here. So as you can see, there are quite a bit of presets to choose from. Of course, we can tweak them if we like to. We can also change the speed, or rather the length of the LFO from here. And once we've chosen a pattern, obviously that will ultimately determine how the distortion will affect the sound over time. Now we can also exclude certain frequencies from being affected. So if we look up here, you can see that we're now only working on the mid band. It just happens to be that the mid band is now stretched out over the entire frequency range. That is why everything is affected. But we can also narrow the mid band like this. And now obviously all the frequencies to the left, so all the lower frequencies, and all the frequencies to the right, so the higher frequencies, are now unaffected. We can also go to the lower frequencies and create a separate pattern for only the lower frequencies, and also create a separate pattern for only the higher frequencies. So, you know, the DriveShaper, and just like all the other shapers, I believe, in Shaperbox, the DriveShaper is definitely a true multi-band effect. Okay, one more thing about the interface. Now down here you can see different slots, I believe 9 different slots. Now let's say that we found a pattern that we really like. Maybe we want to tweak it a little bit like this. This is perfect. Okay, I definitely want to use this in my song. So what I can do, I can save it to any of the slots, and then I found another pattern that I really want to use in my song. Let's save it to the second slot, and so on and so on. Now what we can do now is use our MIDI controller to switch between patterns, and that of course is going to be super useful if you're playing your song, or especially if you're recording. So that's a very nice touch. Alright, enough talk. Let's hear it in action. So I've created a little demo track over here. So let's first take a listen. Now I'm not sure if you were able to hear it very clearly. It's pretty subtle. I like being subtle. Let me just solo the bass and you'll probably hear it. Let's go. Okay, let me open the DriveShaper so you can also see what's going on. Okay. Let me now show you what I actually played. Let me show you the original bass I played. So without the DriveShaper, this is what I played. Let's go. Okay, let's bring that into context. Let's unsolo. So it's not bad, but we can just give it a little bit more life by adding the DriveShaper. Let's go. Now again, especially in the mix, it is pretty subtle, but at the same time it makes a huge difference. Okay, now let's mess around a little bit. Let's see if we can find another preset pattern that fits this bass. Let's go. Nice. Yeah. So as you can see, just changing from one pattern to another can change the feel of, well, an entire song, or at least the feel of the bass in this case. Now, of course, you can also apply the DriveShaper to any other instrument. You can also apply it to a bus, or you can apply it to the entire mix if you want to. If you have other shapers in your Shaperbox apart from the DriveShaper, of course you can combine different shapers. So for example, we could now also add the time shaper and then also the filter shaper and any other shaper you want, and that will open the door to infinite possibilities. Alright, now what do I think of the DriveShaper? Well, first of all, let me say that it is very difficult to see it as separate from the Shaperbox, because it is part of the Shaperbox. And I believe that the biggest strength by far of all the individual modules in the Shaperbox is the combination of all the modules in the Shaperbox, if you know what I'm saying. But if I would have to say something about the DriveShaper as an individual plugin or an individual shaper, yeah, I definitely think it's a great distortion plugin, shaper module. Yeah, you have a lot of control over the distortion with different styles. You can tweak it. You also have some multi-band options. I think the patterns are amazing. You can really make it do whatever you want. By the way, it may look a little bit daunting at first, but it's actually very, very easy to use. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a thumbs up. Anyway, that's about it for me about the DriveShaper. Go check it out for yourself and let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. For now, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna talk to you in the next video.